Hello all and welcome to Race on Oz. It is the ACC PC League. It's round one for season 2 of 2022. It is your host Joe Marnie and I am joined by Tom Riley. Welcome Tom, how are you going?
Yeah, good. Thanks yourself, Joe. Good to be here. Good to start off season 2 here at Donington. Keen to see the racing tonight. How are you, Joe?
I am very well. I've had a couple of months off and ready to get stuck into this again. I feel quite rusty actually, so this could be an interesting night. I'm very glad to have you in the com box with me. It does make it lighter work in here, and it's going to be a full grid too. It's what have we got? We've got 40 cars in the practice session. This is going to be pretty exciting with the numbers we've got. It's a tight circuit. We will get. Yep. Sorry, go on, Tom.
That's right. Yeah, I think the battle into turn 1 and down through the crown of curves is going to be very, very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to it. Some very quick drivers in there, but just got a little bit into qualifying. But that'll be very exciting in itself, qualifying with some very quick drivers.
It will. It's going to be very, very exciting. This is going to be an exciting season as well. So there's the track list. We've got round 1 tonight at Donington. This is a sprint round. Round 2, Paul Ricard, 100-minute enduro. It was very exciting, that race last season, and with variable weather. So it'll be interesting to see how this season's race will go. That's followed by Zandvoort, Snetterton, and then another enduro at Misano, Suzuka, Spa, Hungaroring, Nürburgring, and the season finishes with a 2-hour enduro at Monza. Not too sure about going through turn 1 at Monza for 2 hours, but it's got a good list, good track list, good order, nice mix. It's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, there's a bit for everyone really, and I think it's one of those calendars that doesn't really play to the strengths of one individual car for the whole season. I think it'll be quite balanced. There's a fair mix of cars out there too. There's I think almost every manufacturer is represented. Every major manufacturer in the sim. So I can't see any that are missing. But yeah, very excited that calendar.
Talking of the cars, we didn't have the the BMW M4 last season, so that's interesting to come back. We've got the new Audi as well, and both of them are pretty quick around Donington from the practice race on Wednesday night and this practice session already. So this is going to be pretty exciting to see how this comes out. But we will have a look at the event details for tonight. Round 1, Donington sprint race. They're just towards the end of the 45-minute qualifying session, and we're just waiting for a bit of additional admin before the qualifying session starts. So 15-minute qualifying and a 60-minute race. The pit stop requirements. There's one mandatory pit stop for tyres only, and fuel is optional. So I suspect it'll be somewhere around the middle of the race. That's the 30-minute mark. We will see a flurry of pit stops, and be a nice sprint race to the end from there. As we have a look at the track walk here, courtesy of ACC TV. And Donington Park, this is actually one of my favourites, going all the way back to the original Toka game on PS1. I spent a lot of time driving around here because I didn't have a memory card to save it, so I ended up doing more laps around his track than anything else. It's nice reminiscing this track, but like you mentioned before, there's going to be heaps of action at Crane of Curves, McLean's as well, and the S's. It's going to be... there was this corresponding the Donington race last season. There was huge action, lap 1 at the S's, and I suspect it will be the same again, as the server itself has actually just been reset. So there'll be another 5 minutes before we get going with the qualifying session. So, Tom, what are your thoughts on Donington?
I love the track. I started out on it in an Aston and thought it was a really fun track, especially through Craner curves. And then my favourite corner isn't like the old hairpin or McLean's. It's actually Coppice because it's that blind approach that that you carry so much speed through, and the more ballsy you are, the better you run down to the S's. So that's one of my favourite corners. The hairpins at the end of the lap are they're difficult because they're quite wide open hairpins in comparison to they're like a little bit more open than you think. And Goddard's is a difficult braking zone because it's sort of blind approach as well. And the kink just in the braking zone there makes it quite difficult with the downhill apex to get a good run onto the main straight. But watch for everyone to use a lot of the pit exit, brake into Redgate to open up that corner. And then the run down through the Craner curves is all about picking your line. But yeah, I think I'd say Coppice is one of my more favourite corners on the track, just simply because of the blind approach and the more aggressive you can be on entry. Most of the time, the better you run down to the S's.
Yeah, definitely. There's plenty of passing opportunities around Donington. Definitely at turn 1, Redgate. You've got it's tough through Craner curves, going side by side, and the old hairpin. It's very, very tight. But Coppice, and then the run, not necessarily through the S's, but if you get a good exit out of Coppice, good run through S's, you will have a really good chance of passing it. Melbourne and Goddard's as well. But it is also a circuit that's not necessarily easy to defend, but it is a circuit that you can defend and hold your position. So it's going to be definitely an exciting race.
I think one of the more important spots is watch for people to try and hang it around the outside at Melbourne hairpin or try and get back underneath. And if they get back underneath and do the crisscross back underneath, watch them to do it again at Goddard's, because it's difficult having a right, then a left, then a right following straight after to really try and get an overtake done. So it's going to be all about your exit out of those hairpins to maximise your chance of either getting a position or defending your position.
So the server's just started back up again. Fortunately for me, I have to redo all of my connections to the server and different programs. So just bear with me as I'm working through this. So there's a minute 30 until qualifying starts. And what's your prediction for qualifying in this one?
I think it's certainly going to be between Philippa Bakita and Andy O'Hara. Pips in that R8G McLaren will be very, very quick, especially through the Craner curves and through Coppice. I think probably two of its more dominant corners on the track, but that McLaren. But I think certainly watch out for Andy O'Hara in the BMW to pull out all the stops and get a good lap time in as well. Not sure. Obviously, there are 2 platinum ranked drivers this season. I'm not sure who else I would watch out for, but Hobbsy was pretty quick. Mitch Hobbs in the 46 Audi. He was pretty quick early on in that practice session, but there's plenty of names in there that you would go, I think they've got to be up the field a fair way. So might there be some surprises? Who knows?
I think I'll throw this one out. It won't be a surprise to me or a lot of the console drivers within RaceOnOz. Vic Chan, it's his first race in the PC League for a regular season event. He showed some pretty good pace in that practice session, so I feel, will be kicking at the heels of the podium, or definitely in that top of the section of the field in qualifying. Paul Britt was pretty quick as well. And on the topic of the classes, we do have 2 platinum drivers, which are Philippa Bakita and Andrew O'Hara. We've got gold class, a silver class, and a bronze class. So there is a championship for the overall, which is the platinum and gold drivers, the silver class championship, and the bronze championship as well. And you'll be able to see from the driver numbers that the overall championship, the driver numbers are white, silver class are silver, and the bronze will be red. As we are just starting off for qualifying. The cars are just leaving pit lane, and we will join them right now. So just follow Dean Karki out of the pits in the Mercedes. So he's another driver who has made the move from console to the PC League, so it's going to be exciting to see how he goes tonight. So he's in the AM class.
I've got to say, it's good to see a number of drivers jumping from console-based competition to the PC. There's a much wider range of leagues and opportunities out there on PC format, but yeah, the love and the passion that a lot of the ACT community have shown towards the console version is unerring, is what I would say. There's a lot of requests for the new updates and all the new cars and whatnot to be added as soon as the PC one does. Obviously, there's some restrictions on Kuno's side, but it's good to see a number of drivers making that step up to the PC League.
And it is a big step up, really is. Just the amount of info you can get, the telemetry, the force feedback is a step up, the graphics are a step up. And one thing that will be very much noticed in this practice session is the congestion on track. As you can see from the track map, from turn 1 all the way through to the S's, it's just a big block of cars. So if you get some space in this one, it's going to be gold. Just following Vic Chan as he's setting purple sectors on his first flying lap.
There's goodbye to that bollard on the inside of McLean there. Heading up now to the S's. So you've got to spot your braking zone here. It runs nice, uses the track limits to his advantage. Running down to Melbourne now. Another one where you want to really brake as late as you dare, but you want to get in there, tuck the car into the apex. See Bakita go quickest on a 26.4. So there's the marker that everyone has to beat now. Gets a good run through the last corner now, up to the line, pulling gears, and jumps up to P4. O'Hara's gone quicker though with a 26.3. So a little bit to play out yet on that front, but still 11.5 minutes to go.
Just stick with Bakita for the rest of this lap, and you can talk us through the rest of this one, Tom.
Absolutely. Heading up now to the S's. Won't quite pull 6th gear, I don't think. No, just pulls 5th. Brakes just after the 100. Uses that inside and outside curve. The barren looks really nicely set up through there. In 4th. Down to 1st gear. Turns it in nice and early. Uses that inside curve. Runs it out nice and wide. Trying to get on the power as soon as she can. obviously before the downhill mid-corner, downhill apex, but then trying to maximise the run up to the line. It does go quicker with a 25.9, so we're into the 25s. Still not fastest in Sector 1 though, so maybe Andy O'Hara stands a chance of beating it. Anyway, down through the craner curves, now got to use all the inside to get the car nice and across, keep it left with the old hairpin, turn it in nice and early, let the car run out wide. She's gone very wide, that'll be track limits. So she won't take as many risks now. Andy O'Hara's not quicker through that first sector, so not sure who's the quickest there.
Yes, that was an interesting one, that actually. He's not the quickest through there. So Andy struggled on that previous lap. He was about a second and a half off his pace of his initial lap. Could be a bit of traffic, it could be all sorts of things going on there. He's already done what Philippa did and ran off at the bottom of the hill. So just looking through, there's no one setting purple sectors at the moment.
The cars seem to be fairly well spaced out now on the track, so should everyone should be getting a good look at their track, good unimpeded run. You would hope. A lot of people improving on the live delta on the left-hand side. See if it's green and they're up on their own delta, thread they're down, and if it's grey, they haven't quite said anything yet. Paul Britt there just stops at the side of the track, decides to teleport back to pits and probably change tyres, maybe just adjust a bit of a setup and head out again.
So with 8 minutes left in the session, there's no one who's really setting the world on fire at the moment. Andy O'Hara's 0.2, 0.3 up at this stage. He's needing to find 4/10 to get that top spot. Just coming round the Melbourne hairpin, one corner to go. It really just depends how he's run onto the main straighties here. And he does improve.
But not by enough to grab even P2. Paul Britt's there. Only got it by half a tenth, so he's only sitting in there. So Andy will push on. It's not a gap that he can't make up, but does seem to have a fairly clean run. The car in front of him on track at the moment is not on a lap, so he should get out the way. When she does, oh geez, that was close.
That was very messy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the Bentley behind him did spin.
I was actually just looking at the manufacturers in the top 20, and there isn't one Bentley, which is a big surprise. It's a good mixture of manufacturers there, as just have a quick look at the classes. So Ray Haggis is the leader of silver class at this stage, and Deegan Karki in his first race on PC is the leader of AM class. So Haggis is a favourite, definitely amongst the console side of things, and he had a pretty good season last season, and he'll be looking to back it up. Let's go to Paul Britt. He's throwing up some purple sectors here.
and the Evo 2 Audi. Which, if you're not aware, one of the main differences you can see on the new Audi compared to previous iterations is that the rear wing is hung from above with the supports running behind the rear wing, rather than in front of the leading edge of the rear wing, as you can see in that photo there. So it's really just a whole lot of aero and some weight management and some driver comfort changes, from my understanding, compared to the Evo 1.
So 5 minutes left in the session. Quick look to see who's going to be going quicker here. Britt lost a bit of time towards the back end of that lap. So we have a quick look at Ray Haggis, and this is an exceptional livery. This is great. Haggis does not disappoint with his liveries. A bit of a Williams throwback.
Yeah, I've got to say, some of the liveries that I've seen have been quite impressive in terms of like throwbacks or just raw liveries from the very start. So it's good to see people getting creative and trying to come up with their own ideas or replicate some real life stuff.
They're doing a really good job of it. It's really good to see that the guys and girls are putting that time into it.
Yep. I'll put a shameless plug out there. I did Ryan Green's livery, bit of a designer myself, so I did that
very
one
nice
for him. But yeah, there's quite a few good-looking liveries out there. One of the benefits, I suppose, of PC is being able to make your own liveries and come up on broadcast as good as they do when you make them and have a look. There it is.
Get a nice good close-up here.
Yeah.
Even better was his run wide. Very nice livery there. It's a very good job there. It's very nice.
Well, I enjoyed making it. One of the things the M4 is quite difficult to make a livery for, with all the sort of ancillary panels and that sort of thing that you can't really see. But there's some easier cards to build on livery for, but a bit of time and effort and comes up like that. Looks good.
You've done a very good job with that one. It's very nice. Oh, it's off in the background. There's like someone was disconnecting then.
I think he has, because it looked like on the map that he just did a bit of a weird flyby of the first couple of corners and then returned back on track. So it might have just been a bit of a lag skip. But there's not long to go now, only about 2.5 minutes. So Philippa here on a lap that's going to better her previous time. She can pull it up into the chicane, which she does. Greeny there just steps aside. Another livery this one. RHG have always had some good looking liveries in all their competition entries.
It's
Coming to the last corner now.
It's unfortunate finish in the 500 for Grosjean too.
Yep, very unfortunate. 25.8 from Philippa to better her marker. So Paul Britt's got a little bit of work to do.
Andy doesn't have any perfect sectors on his fastest lap. It just seems that no one's been able to get a perfect lap together. But he's up. He needs a couple of tenths.
I think the 40 cars on grid have certainly not helped a lot of people in setting some fast times, but we'll hang on here to see what Andy can do. Run. Looks like he improved through that last corner. Is it going to be enough? Puts him into second place by 55 thousandths. So we're talking the slimmest of margins here. Qualifying for round one. Mitch Hobbs running in P4 at the moment. Does he improve his position? Doesn't, but he does better his time.
As Bakita goes quicker again.
Absolutely not messing around, but Philippa will be very happy with that. Vic Chan can only do 7th fastest, but he is starting another lap, so he did just cross the line with enough time. We'll start getting our first checkered flags. Cars completing their laps now. So it's only Andy, Paul Britt, Bruno Gallo, Vic Chan and Sean Madison that are on track at the moment to try and better their times. Seeing Andy and Vic are both up on their own times now, so is Sean Madison. We're on board here with Bruno Gallo. He's down though. Maybe he's gone invalid because there's no delta anymore, which I think he has.
Yeah, he has. He's showing up as lacking the timing. So just Peter Walls finishing off his final lap in quali. As there's only a handful of cars left on. The last one to cross the line will be Neil Fakeney.
You might have already taken the checker. I think it's just Vic to go. And that'll be it. It's Philippa Bokita from Andy O'Hara and Paul Britt. Andy improved his time to only be within 27 thousandths of a second. So nothing can split P1 and 2, apart from the 27 thousandths, of course. But Philippa Bokita takes the first pole position for PC League Season 2. And we'll start in the very front of the grid for the 60 minutes around Donington.
As we've got Oliver in the top qualifier for silver class. As I look through, and we've got Dean Karki, the top qualifier for AM class. It's a big mixture of silver and AM class drivers. Vandelay and Fluke, a bit out of position, 19th and 20th. Same with Russell and Reed. I think it's more that there's a few silver guys that have had a pretty good qualifying session here. And a couple. Herbertron's in his first race in the league. There's a few others there as well. As we just wait for the time to tick over, as they just sit in the grid now. We'll just take a quick break and we'll be back with you shortly. So welcome back. We just wait for the cars to take off on the formation lap. I just wanted to quickly say hello to everyone in the chat. So it's great to see you all there. Thank you. It's good to be back. It's been a well-needed break. I've been looking forward to getting stuck into this again. And one thing to mention is courtesy of Pagnian. They are providing RaceOnOz with an FGT Elite sim rig, which is a prize for the RaceOnOz members for these seasons. So competing in 2/3 of the events, you'll become eligible to go into the prize draw for this. So thank you to Pagnian. So that involves the PC League for ACC, the Console League, GT7, P Cars, iRacing, Dirt Rally, the whole heap. So after this season's the prize draw will go out, and this will be the prize. So it's, thank you again to Pagnian. It's a wonderful prize, and it's awesome to have you on as a sponsor, and look forward to that continuing on.
That is a mega prize, can I just say? Getting a full custom Next Level Racing FGT Elite. That'll be certainly well used, I would say, by the winner. It's not many people these days have got the money to spend on an 80/20, but it's good to see that Pagnian are getting behind us.
Yeah, definitely. They've done this quite a few times over the years, and we really do appreciate it as a league. And this is worth, I think it's $850 to $900. So it's a wonderful prize. As we go live on track, as the cars are disappearing on the formation lap, and I will take this opportunity to just quickly run through the grid. Bakita on pole from O'Hara. There's less than a half a tenth in that. It just goes to show it's just going to be a brilliant race. Paul Britt was third. Vic Chan, his first race in the PC League. He's brought his form across from Console. Then we've got Hobbs, Gallo, Weston, Martin, his first race on PC in this league as well. Madison, Frost, Ty, I think his first race in the league as well. Oliver, Haggis, Ethan Cale, so he's come across from Console as well, so it's his first race, so that's pretty good qualifying. It's being in the top 15. Paul Russell, James Reed, Peter Wall, we've got Adrian Rice, Vanderlei, Fluke, rounds out the top 20. We've got Susana, Kaki, Masafto, his first race in the league as well. And then we've got Dominiak, 24th. I don't think I can actually scroll down, unfortunately, so I'll have to do that another way.
Whilst you're doing that, I think it'll be important. I just want to point out that Patrick Oliver and Haggis, 12th and 13th, were only separated by 0.003 of a second, and that's the same for Vanderlei and Fluke down in 19th and 20th. So there is nothing between a lot of these drivers. It goes to show the quality of this, the way we're starting this season.
Oh, this is just into turn one, crane of curves, the S's. It's just going to be so tight at lap one. I have a feeling the highlight button's going to get a bit of a workout in this race. So as we just continue through the order, we've got Haycock 25th, Stu Parsons 26th, Fakeney, Dennis, Latanzio, Coco, Masterson, Kennedy Runau, Hemi Bateman, Parsons. That's Tom Parsons, Ryan Green, Paul McElhinney, James Mack, Case Parsons, Herbertron, and Mark Hurley, who I'm feeling is in the pits there. And as the green light goes and we're away, so fan out into turn one. So Bakita's going to get the lead from O'Hara and Britt. There's a bit of contact further back between Hobbs and Chan. It's
about 6 or 7 cars involved in that one further back.
As we've just gone round again, there's boards flying everywhere. Unfortunately, I'm unable to change the picture at the moment, but wow. We will be going back and having a look at the replay of this one. So we're just on board with Vanderlei. Wasn't quite able to keep up with the changing of the views here. Well, what a view, actually. This is a brilliant line of cars heading into the S's. It's been relatively calm after the first couple of corners.
It looks like it was Gallo and Madison involved. They've dropped back down. Gallo's now in 34th. Madison all the way back in 39th. So they got involved at the one down at the bottom here at the old hairpin, but there was 7 or 8 cars around at the exit of turn 1. So I can't quite tell who started it, but I'm sure we'll get a replay to be able to see that one. But yeah, Philippa Bakita leads us across the line. She's already built that a gap of 6/10, and he's just closing that back up. But Britt's about an equidistant behind Andy as well. So there's not many tiny gaps. Vic Chan has that has about 2/10 behind Mitch Weston. Just starting to spread out, find their bit of track and get their tyres warm and give themselves a good chance throughout this race. As we said before, it's only one mandatory stop. That you must take tyres. Fuel is optional, but given fuel is covered by tyres, you'd expect probably people to take the fuel so they can run a little bit lighter, run their tyres maybe a little bit longer at their peak condition. But yeah, going to maximise the probably, well, not really maximise, but probably stop middle of the race in and around that 30-minute mark. Expect some to go a bit earlier, some to go a bit longer. Those who are in the pits at the moment will certainly be safe to make it home to the end on one stop. So expect to see them try and do the extreme undercut that is forced on them by damage. So we're just on board here with Dean Kaki while watching him as he goes for a move. There on the Audi. See Sean Madison there coming out of pit, so he's already dropped a lap, and maybe even, he's a lap and what's that, almost 25 positions or so. That was a McLaren that went exit stage right.
Paul McElhinney there. Unfortunately, he's dropped 6 places from that. So there's some big movers in this field. Kais Parsons up 16 positions. We've got James Mack up 13 positions. Aaron Dennis is up 11 positions. As I say that, Parsons has had a moment. He's dropped a couple of positions again. Other one is Adrian Rice has had a moment too. It looks like it's coming through the S's. It's all relatively calm after that first half a lap. Dallas Bentley just about enter stage, exit stage right then. So we go to the front of the field, and O'Hara's brought that gap down. It's about half that gap in the last lap or so.
Yeah, they were really close in the last lap heading up to the Melbourne hairpin. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Andy here get a good. I think he can just carry a bit more speed through the S's, but that McLaren is extremely strong through these corners. sort of looking for that crisscross, but doesn't quite get the drive out of the corner, so just decides to sit in behind. But I only think that his best bet is coming up from Coppice all the way through into the Melbourne hairpin to try and get a move done. Carry a lot more speed through that sector all the way up to the hairpin, especially through the S's. That's where the M4, I think, is a lot stronger than the McLaren in terms of its ride control over the bumps.
Brit's not too far behind either. It's only just over a second behind, and then second and a half back to Mitch Hobbs. And there's a tight little battle there between Hobbs, Weston and Chan.
Andy seemed to be really strong out of the old hairpin. Seemed to really close right up behind Philippa. So that M4 is doing some good things off corner. He's got a little bit more confidence through there. Doesn't quite have the run compared to what he had last lap, but these two are both very, very good drivers. So they were both trying at the moment. And he's just going to try and work out where he's stronger. They've raced against each other a lot over the last few years. And certainly be in Andy's best interest maybe just to sit behind, just stay right up behind the rear wing of that McLaren and work out where he's stronger. I certainly think coming through the old hairpin is one of his more stronger locations, and if he can carry that run all the way from the hairpin all the way up to Melbourne, to the other Melbourne hairpin, he'll be in a good spot. We'll just stay on board here and see. Just gets a really good run. Not quite the same run as he had before, but hasn't dropped back through it. Let's close up a little bit. See how close he's there. Just gets a little bit of oversteer on exit. That's what I said earlier about that corner and how difficult it is to get a good run. Flames coming out the back of Philippa's McLaren there. Heading up to Starkey straight now to the S's. Him just slowly gain in.
He's got a run here. Can he get up the inside? He's back behind these guys. There's a bit of contact between Weston and Hobbs. I think it has been again. So Weston has got the pass done on Hobbs, and now Hobbs is under attack from Chan.
Mitch Weston there has lost a fair bit of time compared to what he was. It's almost like he's lost about 7 or 8 tenths on that last lap to Paul Britt. So that contact bringing him undone a little bit with Hobbsy. Hobbs has been ushered back, I suppose, into the clutches of the BMW of Chan. Stevie Ty sitting up there in 7th in the Honda. Only about 1.5 seconds off the back of this, so the more these guys keep battling, the closer Stevie can get. Kale there in the 52 BMW as well. It's up in 8th place for that silver driver, so this is a good little run from him.
This is a really good run from Ethan. He's he made some big progress on console. Now that he's made the transition over here, it's the obvious step for him was to make the move, and he's showing that continuation of form, which is really good to see. And so there's a bit of contact between Weston and Hobbs then, Melbourne. Bakita pulls out the fastest lap of the race, the 1:26.4. Andy O'Hara not far off that either with a 26.5. Just watch this. It's bit of a lucky band amongst these three. Definitely tightens up through the final sector. So there's a drive-through penalty as well for Neil Fakeney, so I'm not too sure what's happened to him. So he's down in 34th at the moment. It's 5-6 drivers that have completed their pit stop already. I think a lot of that would be to repair damage from lap 1.
Drive-through there has to be for track limits, doesn't it?
It's very early in the race.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so track limits very early on in the race. Nice
easy
battle.
to collect them though. Yeah, easy to collect them though through the S's and on the exit of some of the corners. But I can't think of anywhere else where you'd get them apart from the S's, where you'd get them that consistently. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Might have to do a bit of investigation after the race, and we'll bring you the updates for that next week. But yeah, the good battle here.
As Rooz just dropped off Martin then.
They're
Patrick
pushing hard, trying to make up some positions. He just ran wide. Here, go ahead.
Patrick Oliver's on the back of Robert Fluke here. I seem to remember him having a bit of a moment early on in the race. He was actually just through here. He was he was going relatively slow on the right-hand side. And back behind these guys, there's a decent battle going on. Between Stu Parsons, Nando, and Tanzio's just got the pass done on Parsons.
Good move if that's through Coppers. So got a good run out of there. See Masterson not too far behind though in that Emil Frey livery. Nissen runs a little bit wide. Will entice Masterson to run alongside. Another drive through out there for Runau. As well down in 38th position. He's 2 laps down, so I think he might have had a bit of damage. And he's got a drive through now as well. So I think that might be for pit speeding though, more than any other track limits or anything like that.
So that was one pass to the other. So Stu Parsons is leading AM class at this stage. Oh, and the other Parsons has gone round. Nice livery on that Nissan, but it's easy to. He's just run a bit wide, grab the grass. It's a bit. It's easy to do that down there. As we go back towards the front of the field, this battle's continuing between Ahara and Bakita.
Yeah, they've dropped Brent too. Brent's now at 2.4 seconds back, so they're certainly flying along, running their own race really. I think that's saying about Brent as well. Now, pretty much, yeah, 2.4 seconds off with a 3-second lead. Back to Mitch Weston, who's not really gaining that quickly. So these two at the front, they'll keep matching each other for laps for quite a while.
And these two are about half a second a lap quicker than Britt and Weston. Britt and Weston are pretty similar times, and there's a couple of tenths drop off back to Hobbs and Vic Chan. Oh, it's a good camera angle. Shows how close these cars get through the hairpins.
Bit of lap traffic in front though they'll have to deal with. It's yeah, still probably a little bit too far away from a tactical pit stop on each other. That's Mercedes that is not on the right part of the track. That Frost there.
Quick look to see what happened in this one. I
definitely think he's probably gone. Yeah, I think he might have just missed his braking marker down at the hairpin, or down at the S's, I should say. Does grab the brake.
Oh, there's actually another car involved.
The car very slow. Who was that?
That was Ethan Cale, I believe, because he's dropped off a lot there. So where's he? I can't find him. Not too sure what's happened to. Maybe that car was stopped there as Ethan was disconnecting.
I think that might be it, yeah, because I can't see him on the list at all. So that's that might have been a bit of a Cove Brown moment for Matt Frost.
Oh, it would have been for sure. Because yeah, there was a weird incident. Unfortunately, if he hit that car, even though it was disconnecting, it's a fair chance it would have caused damage. So, of course, he was taking evasive action to get your heart rate going. So Frost has moved back to 12th, and he's got Sassana right behind him. I think he's picked up any damage for it. We'll have a quick look at this battle at the front and have a look at how they've traded lap times the last 3 laps. It just goes to show how tight and consistent these two are at the front of the field. This is great performance from these two. It's good to watch. As Andy has just tightened this gap back up again. So come up to more lap traffic. Let's just give Andy a bit of an opportunity to get up the inside. I think it's quite close enough.
Pip's line there was compromised, but not by enough to give Andy an advantage. They got through that bit of lap traffic cleanly. A little bit of a gap now to the 56 car, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep plugging away, and they are substantially quicker than Adrian Rice in that 56 car up ahead. It's just going through the left-hander Craner curves now and up to the old hairpin. So I will catch him in no time at all, but I think you could say the blue flags have been relatively well behaved so far. A little bit of contact there between Pat Oliver and
it's been a good battle. Just trying to check if there's been an overtake between these two. So this is heading down to Melbourne. They've got side by side. Oh, there is contact. And bit of side by side. It's not much in it. You don't mind seeing a bit of this. As we just wait for this replay to finish. And I'll get to the next one, which is Vic Chan. He's had a moment here somewhere. Yeah, he's just grabbed the grass. This is to keep it off the fence. Oh, not quite. His damage shouldn't be too bad, but he's dropped down to 7th place. Just ran that little bit wide. Jumps on the throttle. And, yeah, it's unfortunate for him. Oh, just as a catch, the Lamborghini's running wide at the final turn. Just about tagged Haggis. So 20 minutes gone in this race. There's been plenty of action. Some tight battles through the field. We've got Paul McElhinney, 25th, chasing Mark Hurley. So this is McElhinney trying to recover after his off earlier on. It's a tight battle here. I think there's a bit of lap traffic in this.
Yeah, I think there is. Green is in that BMW behind, who's not in that battle, so Green has pitted though, so that's might be a bit of something. I think Kaki is in that little battle behind as well, so
yeah, so that was Kaki there, and that's Merck, so it's his moment. Green recovering after the early mishap.
Yeah, he was involved in that turn 1 incident, and certainly didn't have the qualifying that he would have liked. But
he's just backing off, letting the guys go. So he's doing the right thing there. So
yep.
Good sportsmanship. It's good to see. So we have another look at the front of the field. This battle continuing. It could all come down to the pit stops here.
Absolutely. I'm not sure on what the overcut or undercut gain is here, but in GT3 racing there isn't normally that much of a sort of over or undercut because of the tyre life and what to expect from it. But just having some clean air might be useful. Can't really see much clean air on track really, and where these guys would pop out. So we'll just have to wait and see on when they pit and whether or not they do get into clean air. That'll be the critical part, whether they can use their pace to their advantage. I won't box this time by, but I'd be expecting them probably to box in the next, during the next 5 minutes or so, for one of them to go, hang on, let's try and see if we can get some clean air, and let's try and go for the lead or consolidate the lead. So that's what we'll wait and see with that front battle.
Just wanted to have a shout out to Mark Hurley, who's another driver who's made the move from console to PC. And at the moment he's in 24th position.
Started from the pit lane too.
Yeah, he did. So he's up 14 positions to be here. So he's had a pretty good run once he started. So I'm too sure we'll find out post-race what happened to him.
They've probably just missed the click drive button.
It's easy.
Was forced to the pit lane as he now pits for us. So James Mack there has a little bit of a moment, runs wide through turn 1, comes back on behind that Mercedes in front. Oh, and has another moment on the exit of the old hairpin. Just gets a little bit taily.
I was just about to give him a rev up too, as all of that's happened. So sorry there. I was just about to make mention that he's the biggest mover in the field, going up 15 positions. So, well, he still is actually. I don't think he's actually lost a position out of that, because that was lap traffic.
Tell you what, Mitch Weston here has brought out the big guns in terms of liveries. The pink pig livery on that Porsche is exceptional.
He's pretty excited about
perfect.
this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those iconic liveries that you see from all over the world, and certainly this livery running on was it a 932? I think it was back Porsche at Le Mans days. When it was in real life, there's a livery of the the red and white striped Porsche livery running in Carrera Cup Australia. There's a nice recreation of that. Another classic Porsche livery.
So Western's made a really good gain on Brit here. So if it's, can't really say towards the end of the tyre stint. It's only it's only half an hour, but it's made some good gains here. So it could have been some lap traffic as Hobbs is pitted. So that'll give us.
He's the first one of our leaders to give us a good indication. He's popped down in the 16th place. Does have clean air in front of him. So he's now chasing down Latanzio. Ryan
picked
make
a very
the most
good
out
gap.
of these new tyres. Yeah.
He's picked a really good gap here, and he's pitted a bit earlier than everyone else, so hopefully he'll make gains here with this bit of clean track, new set of boots, and he's away. So this is beginning to get a flurry of pit stops. So Hobbs will give us a good idea of the pit stop times as Patrick Oliver has just had an off. Looks like it was looks like it would have been pretty similar to what happened to Vic Chan and a few others.
Weston's just ducked into pits, so he got right up behind Paul Britt and decided now's the time to pit. I'm going to be held up otherwise. Goes for the undercut. See where he pops out. We'll be looking around the Hobbs position to hopefully pop out in front of Hobbsy. And at one stage there, the gap between Bakir and O'Hara closed to just under 2/10. So we will keep our eyes on that battle and when they pit. But Paddy Oliver here is going to duck in. Being held up a little bit.
Yes, it's quite tight again between these two at the front of the field. What do you do, Tom? Which one pits first?
Oh, there's a bit going on. I think, sorry, I was just watching on the screen and watching where Mitch Weston comes out, and he's just had a bit of a moment with I think it was some lap traffic. So, well, he's popped in behind Dennis in front of Hobbs, though. So, we'll, so here's the replay here. He comes out in between two cars. And just tries to make the most of his corner speed, and that's a Mercedes, I think, going hard right once again. Exiting stage right seems to be the theme of the night, I think.
Yeah, it sure is. As it's another moment for James Mack, similar position too. The looks of things. This is one of the better runs for... Oh, there's someone exiting to the pits. Better run here for O'Hara.
See whether one of these drivers now decides to box. Looks like it is going to be O'Hara who blinks first, right as we hit that halfway mark of the race. Dives into the pits. Stevie Ty here has popped out in behind Chan. So that's going to be a good battle between those two drivers, trying to chase down Hobbsy.
So Ty's made a good gain here, I think, out of this pit stop sequence. As Big Chan's being held up by Assetto, so this is all for position.
I think the other one we're going to have to watch out for here is where Hobbs pops out relative to Paul Britt, or Mitch Weston relative to Paul Britt, whether they pop out in and around each other or whether there's a good gain there for Weston. Saw Weston and Britt were having a little bit of a battle earlier on. So see where they pop out. Andy O'Hara is going to pop out well clear off those other cars. Paul Britt pops out behind him, obviously. And Weston is probably right on his rear wing. So see when those timing splits update where they pop out. But here it is here. Britt has popped out right in behind some traffic. And Weston isn't quite as close. So
This is 2.5 second gap there, and there's a bit of lap traffic.
I wonder if there was a bit of lap traffic that might have disadvantaged Weston there at some stage, because Hobbs caught right back up. Hobbsy's now within only a second of, I mean, it's a gap you can see here now. Hobbsy's just down at the bottom right of the screen. In behind, there's a Bentley there, trying to get right back up.
And that's...
Philippa has boxed as well. I'll try and cover off any chance of an undercut. Andy had pretty much clear track for that whole lap, so Philippa's moving now. Out of pit lane, Philippa will come out. Andy's got the challenge
straight away.
And he does have the warm tyres, so now's his chance to pounce. You know, he's been strong through the old hairpin. Not quite closing in just enough yet, although it does get a good run on the secondary part of the run up here. Philippa's just a little bit wide on entry. Trying to get the good run. Have a Coppice up towards the S's. I don't think he's quite going to have enough here. Going to try and use all of that tyre warmth and trying to get a good run through the S's. It looks like he's got a good run. He's going to go outside immediately. Philippa shows him the outside. It's down to Andy here on the brakes. Philippa's still alongside. They're going side by side through Melbourne hairpin. Andy's going to try and hang it there. Up towards the last corner. He's still alongside. Down through. Philippa's going to try and get the switch back, but Andy covers it off. Andy has taken the lead of this race on virtue of having some warmer tyres through the pit stops, but I still wouldn't call this race over yet. Philippa will challenge Andy the whole time that they keep racing for the next 25 minutes or so, but that's a good move from Andy. Managed to get a good run through the S's. Philippa showed him the outside on the entrance of Melbourne hairpin. He hung it around there, kept his front wheel alongside all the way through the exit, and managed to get just close enough through that last corner to really make it stick. And parked the car on the apex, didn't let Philippa get the switch back. Good, classy racing from both parties.
A lot of respect shown. It's really good to see. Philippa gave plenty of room in the exit. Melbourne hairpin, and just good bit of respect. It's good, just great driving, really. And Andy's been able to pull a second gap. So just a bit of lap traffic. Just wait to see if Philippa gets her tyres up to temp. It was also very tight with the other lap traffic coming out of the last turn on the previous lap, so it could have been a bit of a shock for these two. lap traffic getting out of the way. It's, just so they might have slowed down slightly on the exit of the final corner.
Back to some cars in behind you. It looks like Hobbsy's just dropped off the back of the Midwestern here. And he's just unfortunately probably not going to get any benefit of slipstream or whatever he can to try and catch back up. So he's really going to be at the mercy of lap traffic, I think. Hasn't really looked much faster than Western. So it's going to have to be through a little bit of luck, I would say. On board here with Dylan Martin chasing down James Reed in front.
Just trying to get to the side of Reedy's car. Jim's Racing logo. So nice livery there by Reedy.
Yeah, the monotone colour is actually kind of worked. I'm a big fan of it. This OES car though, it's certainly bright, and it is right up behind. So let's see, Porsche is strong, certainly on acceleration out of corners. Eddie O'Hara does fast up the race at 26.3. So he's now asserted his dominance on this race, I think. We'll be hoping that those tyres don't fall off too much and give Philippa an invite. It's 22 minutes to go, 2.5. Looks like he's on his way to a race win here. Porsche gets right up behind Reedy there.
Dylan Martin's console name is Crashy Mate. He's got a bit of a reputation for being in some very, very strong positions and making little mistakes. This is a really good run for him. So he's in the top 10. His first race in the PC League. Plenty of pressure to the back of Reed. Just have a quick look at Ray Haggis here in that Williams livery. So he's the leader of the silver class. He's doing a really, really good job here.
The adjusted leader, I'd say, because Assetto in front hasn't stopped yet. But yeah, by the time everyone stops, I think that'll be adjusted leader. Bruno Gallo's got yellow. So I wonder if he's had a bit of a moment through the old hairpin as well, or on the run down through the Craner curves.
Just have a quick look at this one.
But does run, over the bumps. Manages to save it, keeps it out of the wall, keeps it out of the dirt, and on he goes. So, a little bit of a moment. Don't think he lost any positions though, so he'll be okay. He'll keep plugging away and trying to catch back up to Sassana in front. Martin here, still right up behind.
This battle group here is tightening up with this middle lap traffic. So Reed, Martin, Vanderlei, Frost. This is the tightest battle on out of the top half of the field, as Cap at the front has been pushed out to 2 seconds here. This is tough. Bit of lap traffic. Guys at lap traffic are battling for position as well. And that was one of the Parsons. They're all running the Skyline too, I think. This race has really settled into a rhythm now. This is good to see. And
he's got that gap over the 2 seconds now, so fairly considerable gap there. Ryan Green up a couple of spots. Running P30 at the moment.
He's got some good pace in that car. He's been able to work his way up through the field. As Weston and Hobbs, I'm going to need to go back and see how this pass was made.
Weston have a bit of a moment because he was on 2 seconds in front, so it's not like Hobbs has gained right up behind. I think
here he
Weston
is.
have a bit of a moment. Oh, goes wide at the old hairpin. No, that's not the old hairpin. That's what was that? Helpful, I know. McLean's. So it goes a little bit wide at McLean's, and Hobbs was just in the right place at the right time to capitalise. So this battle will rain on for a little while yet. Weston knows that he's probably a bit quicker than Hobbsy. So down to Hobbs and how consistent he can be on board here with Mitchie Weston. Does pull 6 down the hill. How the car looks through the old hairpin here. Nice and almost robotic-like the way that the car behaved there. Very nice and smooth on the controls. Westy snaps it down in second gear. Little tiny bit of oversteer, just has to open the wheel up a little bit, let the tyres catch again, but doesn't lose too much on exit. Car looks a little bit twitchy through the S's there, but it's certainly difficult to tune up a car to be able to deal with those fast direction changes at those S's, and then also be able to grip up through the craner curves and through the old hairpin. Goddard's here, car looks nice and reliable, nice and predictable. The car does look quick. Might go on board if we can with Hobbsy and see just how much he's having to work to make pace in that car. Again, car looks nice through the entry of the craner curves there. Only having to have one bite of the steering wheel, which is good. A little bit of a correction there, but that's to be expected as you get on power through that corner. Up now to McLean's. A little bit of oversteer on power, but again, expected through that corner. Coppice here, let's see how it goes. With a sustained power application here. Advances the throttle nicely. Like through the SSE car, seems to be nice and grippy. A little bit of oversteer on exit just as he slams the throttle down again. The brakes at the hairpin. Yeah, nice. Doesn't have to give it any more lock. Doesn't have to give it any correction. Car looks nice and stable. Hobbsy. Very nice from Hobbsy there. But that car looks like a nice, well-oiled machine for him, which is good to see.
It's a really good comparison between the two then. It just looks a little bit more comfortable for Hobbs.
Yeah, it looks like he's not having to over-push the car. I suppose that's one thing about the Porsche, though, is that it can be a little bit tricky to make top speed out of. Just given the way that the engine is placed in behind the rear wheels of the car, basically. So you're not getting as much weight over the front, especially towards the end of a fuel load. The car will become a little bit unpredictable in terms of, you'll probably cop a lot of understeer just by weight balance more than anything else, but traction out of corners is one of the Porsche's strong suits. So places like Laguna, it was incredibly strong. I think it still is in terms of the run through turn 4 at Laguna and the amount of time you spent with some level of steering application and being hard on the throttle. So strong through that, strong through Coppers there.
You wouldn't want to take too much of the grass on the inside there. So we're getting pretty close to a track limit. This battle's gone off for quite a few laps here, so these two will be sweating. As Weston hasn't let Hobbs get away, so that battle's hovering around the second.
The battle for the M class at the moment is it's not exactly nip and tuck, but it's still close. It's still nice and competitive there. Gap at 1.4, so 1.5 now. So those two, Parsons and Mac, they'll be two very different cars again, being a Nissan and a and that's Stephen Haycock, who's well off in that Audi there at well after the Melbourne hairpin. So I wonder if that's just a very sustained moment. There it is there on the curb. He loses it. Doesn't make heavy contact with the barrier, so he should be okay. Does he teleport? I think he does. Yep. I think he does teleport, which is unfortunate.
So just have a look at what's the person's name now? It's Stu Parsons. So yeah, the leader of the AM class, his second season with the league. He's got James Mack just behind him, and Mack's had quite a few offs throughout this race. And he's still back in the battle to lead this class. And then back behind them is Dean Karki and Tom Parsons. As Oliver's had a moment and
dropped right back to 20th.
What's happened to him here? Oh, I've got a sneaking suspicion he's going to grab a bit of the grass.
Yep, keep it up. Easy to do. He does keep it off the wall. That's a good save. Very easy for the car to just not grip up on the grass and to turn him straight hard right into the tyre bundle. But a couple of lost positions, maybe some damaged tyres, but I think it'll be okay. This battle between Hobbs and Weston hasn't given up at all.
Robert Fluke's had a moment himself then. I think he's was going slow. I think he's had any damage. So we just go through the top 10. We've got Andrew O'Hara and Bakita out front. So O'Hara's got a 6-second gap over Bakita. 10-second gap from that back to Paul Britt. Hobbs in fourth in the battle with Weston. Just follow this one through to turn 1. See if Weston Doesn't quite get a chance to get through. They've got Vic Chan in 6. He's kind of on his own here. It's 12 seconds.
Yeah, 12 seconds back. And Stevie Ty is about 7 seconds off that. So Stevie will keep pushing hard, but I think both of them might be pretty happy with where they are positioned at the moment. Good, solid haul of points.
Yeah, really good run from Steve. And then we've got this battle, Reed and Martin, and we've got
Frost in there as well.
Western.
Mitch Weston's gone off. So I wonder what's happened there through Hoppus. I wonder if he's had a bit of a moment himself. Hobbs is there. Yep, I reckon he just grabs a bit of grass. Yep, that's what he does. Has a bit of a moment. Oh, it's a little bit more contact than we'd like to see with the barrier.
It's a bit further past the apex and past the exit of the corner than the other guys have gone through.
Yeah, it looks like he had a bit of a moment. Looks like he had a moment. Just dipped the wheel off. Thought he'd saved it, and the car just snapped again. That's what made him lose that grip, and round he almost went. Frosty's getting right up to the back of this battle. So he will hopefully by the end of this race be right up behind. As we see a move here, Martin up the inside of James Pierre Reid, makes the move stick. It's a good move. Dived to the inside. Nice fair racing. Reedy just decided to give up any chance of making that position stick. So now it's all about Reedy now chasing down Dylan Martin, and for Dylan Martin to make a gap if he can. P8 though, coming from console to the PC League is a great result, especially in the Porsche, which isn't easy to handle at all. So having a little bit more fidelity on PC has certainly helped him out. I think making that step up in one of the more difficult cars to pick up. Just in behind some lap traffic here that does very well to get out the way off the corner.
He's had a really good run in, Dylan. It's a great pass. It's a great battle with Reed. Frost is in that battle now as well. So that's the back end of the top 10. Back behind them is Art Vanderlei. And back behind him is Paul Russell. And another Porsche. So quick look. Russell's gained three positions in the race. And he's lapping decent pace compared to the guys ahead of him. He's 3 seconds back from that battle, and then he's 7 seconds back to Haggis. So Haggis is the leader of the silver class now that the pit stops have all been done. And then after drama's start of the race, Bruno Gallo, who just gets out of the way for O'Hara, has made his way back up to 15th. So this is a good recovery from him. Pitted very early.
Yeah, pitted lap 1 with damage with Sean Madison, who's since retired. But yeah, this is a good result from Bruno. Good recovery drive. Only just going a lap down with 55 odd minutes through this race. So when you're that far off the pace after some damage, this is certainly a great performance by him to run this long on the same set of tyres. Doing some fairly good lap times too, so it's been a good run from him.
Patrick Oliver. It's in a nice battle here with
NTO.
Yeah, getting very close.
Difficult spot to make a move stick through the S's there. Uses a lot of the inside curb, Pat. Tries to get a good exit out of here. Latanzio just positions his car in the ideal position, defending.
So
that's where Pat went off when we were last on board.
So Pat is a long way back, and it's also got to do with the fact that he has actually he's received and completed a stop go 30.
Really?
So that was on lap 21. So that was 7-8 laps ago, not more actually. Just lap around 38. So sorry, 17 laps ago. So his pit stop was compromised, and he's had to do a second. Stop go 30 hurts a lot.
James Max got a drive-through here.
Oh, Nano just ran wide then. It's about to take the back of him.
Yeah, James Max got a drive-through. P2 in the AM class. It's really unfortunate for him to be now having to tour the pit lane. Looks like it was track limits too, so it's really unfortunate for him. And I don't think he would have had enough time or be safe enough to be able to go around and just take it as a post-race. Only just under 3 minutes left, so he's now touring the pit lane. Releases Parsons.
Nando's had a moment there as well. Yes, it's a good result from Stu Parsons. See, with a couple of minutes left to go. As James Mack, he's had a very interesting night. It's definitely been drama-filled.
Looking at it though, Max come out ahead of Kaki, so should still hold P2 in the AM class, but Kaki will have that bit between his teeth now when he sees James Max the next car in front of him and he needs to chase down.
So there's a couple second gap in this one. And Kaki's got Paquita just behind him too.
So what Kaki needs to do here is try and stay on the back of Paquita for as long as he can to get up behind Mac again. Mac, you just have to let some cars through in front, so Kaki's might not quite be close enough to Paquita to really make the most of using Paquita to try and get past. Wasn't able to stay on the back of him. On the back of Paquita, I should say, for long enough.
Okay, our leader is on the final lap now. Give it all you can.
Mac is will have to give up this position. But Andy O'Hara started the final lap here.
And on this final lap, Weston is caught right back up to the back of Hobbs again.
So this could be the battle to watch with 1 lap remaining. Turn 1, probably not Porsche's strongest corner, but seems to get a good exit.
Hobbs lost 1.2 seconds on that last lap.
Is that with traffic, maybe?
Yeah, it must have been with traffic. Didn't see any yellow flags pop up as Weston goes round.
Oh. Again, he keeps it off the wall. I think Chan's just too far back to really make the most of it. You see Chan, I think he's going through the photo, there he is there. So he will probably not quite be close enough, but we had Reed and Frost, who I think might have had some contact at some stage.
We'll have a quick look at this one, because they did actually. They're dancing together down at Melbourne Chicane. Just caught the back end of it, both going through the grass. Back on it again. Just Just wait for this replay to finish up as O'Hara's just finished the race. You get a lot much of a look at the second half of the race, but he's won by 8 seconds from Bakita.
Win. Yeah.
He had plenty of pace once he got out in front. Paul Britt in third. That rounds out the podium. Bit of a lonely race for Britt towards the end of this one. And then Hobbs, Weston round out the top 5. It's a good battle amongst those guys. And we've got Ray Haggis here. Looks like he's going to take out Silver Class. Brilliant livery that he's got.
Parsons just crossed the line to take out the M class.
So well done to Haggis. Well done to Stu Parsons. It's a great performance for him. Good way to start the season. And that was a brilliant race. It has actually ended up going pretty quickly in the end. So congratulations to Andrew O'Hara. And is this Stu Parsons trying to do a donut?
I think it is. I think he forgot to maybe turn off TC.
Seems like it. And that was it for that one. Well, that was a brilliant race and great way to start the season off. And so look forward to the rest of these rounds. It's going to be a great season. And thank you, Tom. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for all those that are watching. And we look forward to doing this again. So thank you, Tom.
No worries at all, Joe. Thanks for having me in the booth, and I can't wait to see you again next week. You and chat, commentate on hopefully another cracking race.
Yeah, a longer one at Paul Ricard. A bit of variable weather. It's going to be an interesting one again. It was brilliant last season. Just threw up a couple of different results. It'll be the same again, no doubt. Looking forward to it. Thank you all. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all soon.